Walker the Collector. Here we go again, and I just want to do a quick rip and kind of chat on what's been a hot topic for the past few days that hopefully has come to an end, and that is the selection for the college football playoff. The top four was released today as expected and as it should have been, with Georgia going at number 1, Michigan number 2, TCU number 3, and Ohio State number 4. And I say that wholeheartedly, coming from a diehard Alabama fan who's been a Alabama and college football fan for a very, very, very long time. And I think that Alabama not making the college football playoff is best for everyone. It's best for some of the teams who don't get a chance to really get in there. It's best for college football fans as a whole to just see what's really going to happen when TCU goes up against some of these other teams. They could shock some people, or it can go as how many people expect. But also the fact that Alabama had the opportunity to handle business and they didn't. And the blame can be put on offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, scheme, whatever. But what it comes down to when people say Alabama only lost by 4 combined points on the last possession, to me that means Alabama actually had the lead or a chance to win and fumbled it. That's how I see it. And also, I think it's good for a lot of the players to have that hunger to feel like, you know what, we can't just bumble around here and have 2 losses, even if they're about the slimmest of margins, and still get in. I look at it and I think it's time for that it's time for Alabama to start focusing on next year and what are we going to do as far as getting things, back on track, right? Now you also have Tennessee fans who are very, very upset because they feel in the head-to-head they beat Alabama and should be ranked higher than Alabama as well in those final rankings. And for that, I can kind of see that. But in the grand scheme of things, Tennessee had the opportunity to handle business too, because I feel that if Tennessee would have beat South Carolina, they would be in the playoff right now. I just feel that way. Their only loss would have been to Georgia on the road, with wins over Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, who then followed and beat Clemson, and just keep tagging them on. And I don't think you could have kept them out. But again, failed to handle business. When you fail to handle business, you put it in the hands of people to make selections, and they may not choose it the way you want, and that's what happens. So, in honor of this crazy college football season, I'm just going to rip a couple of boxes here. This is your 2021 Prizm Draft picks, and I have 2022 Select Draft picks. I'm just going to tear through these and see what we get. But the focus is still on the college football playoff. I heard Nick Saban or Coach Saban say on the interview about being favored in certain games. And that can be a good argument. But at the same time, with that argument, Alabama, I think, was favored in every game, and we still lost. So that doesn't really help when it comes to using that as the criteria of getting into the playoff. Now, granted, it's a good argument. You gotta lobby. You gotta try to get in there. Totally understand. But I still feel that better clock management, Tennessee game could have a different outcome. Different play selection and execution, LSU game would have a different outcome. And then we wouldn't have these problems. Wow. Once upon a time, I thought this card or anything Zach Wilson was going to, have some type of return. Now it's just a pretty placeholder. To Justin Fields, to Moses. Yeah, so also the argument of Ohio State losing a rivalry game by over 20 at home. Okay, that's rough. I gotta say that is rough. And I don't know personally how you can really shake that in the eyes of not just the CFP committee, but just like, the eyes of college football fans. Now, granted, you're in, and I have no argument with you being in. You also have the opportunity of correcting the wrongs, right? If you get that matchup with Michigan in a potential national championship game, it can be similar to what Alabama and Georgia went through just a year ago. So it will be interesting to see if that could happen, but I don't know. Georgia just looks that good. So I'm not sure if they'll even get a chance to meet up in the championship game. So, yeah, it's been a ridiculously awesome football season. I hate to see it come to an end, but there's so many things that set the table for the bowl season and next year. For instance, how many kids are going to opt out of bowl games, right? Back in the day, the bowl games was kind of a litmus test for conferences to see how they rated against each other. Now, when you have people opting out, you don't even know what you truly have. Like, I would love to see a full go Alabama team against a full go Kansas State team in the Sugar Bowl. I think that would be awesome. But are we going to get that? Or, Utah, who fell to Florida on the road, comes back and handles business in the way they did. I would love to see whoever they go up against in the bowl game, because this is not going to be easy. But then, if those play teams were half the kids that opted out for the draft, then, what do we have, right? We're just kind of looking at potentially what could be in for next year. So that has definitely changed the landscape of football. So I'm not sure what the bowl season is going to be able to tell us, but it'll definitely be fun to watch. So here I'm breaking into the Select Now 2022. Pretty nice. I always like Select. Sometimes I don't think, not many people really dig the college unis on the pro guys, but I'm a college nut, so it always looks cool to me. Let's see here. Rod Woodson. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. And of all this time, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know he went to Purdue. So, education for me, right? John Dodson. But one more thing I definitely want to touch on, and I cannot let this go, but the saga that was supposed to be Alabama and Texas A&M. Texas A&M took Alabama to the ropes, definitely. But it seems like Texas A&M stayed against the ropes throughout the season. This couldn't have been the season that they expected. And then to see all these kids dumping into the portal, the legal professional side of me really wants to know, how does that impact NIL deals, things behind the scenes, if people come in, get some NIL money, decide to transfer. And that may not even be the case of what's really going on, but you can't help but think about that. So really wonder how that's shaken out with a lot of these kids entering their name in the portal after one season. That's another aspect of the game that I definitely have to get used to. I love the kids have some power and have the ability to get name, image, and likeness, have the ability to change, in systems if things don't work out right, if coaches leave, get fired, whatever the case may be. But the way it's going now is it's kind of crazy. So got to keep an eye on how that's going to go or how that's going to impact programs in the future. Looking at these two boxes I ripped, these are very, very uneventful rips. I found nothing. Oh, there we go. Brian Robinson Jr. That's really making me just excited. But yes, nice. Josh Allen. Okay. And we went Carson Palmer. Yeah. So again, cheers to a awesome college football season. Let me know in the comments who your team is, how you think your team did, how you think your coaches performed, if there's coaching changes that you're concerned about. I mean, Coach Prime going to Colorado, I don't know. It could be a ridiculous evil genius move, or it could be something that could backfire terribly going forward for him, but we'll just have to see, right? So it's always fun. Love talking college football. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And on that, Walker the Collector, I'm done.